Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna do more runs on floor 110 from tower, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So as you can see, we're gonna use more demon teams, and this time we're using Noah at level 83, which means that this is doable even if you're not maxed out. Though, though, I don't have all the awakening skills, so that compensates for the level. Even so, Noah is one of the easiest characters to be able to beat these kind of things, this kind of content. Well, easiest is not the right word. She can do it because her blue build is extremely tanky and her green build is extremely aggressive. Both are doable. So, yeah, she has options. Now, let's start with Ingrid. Ingrid is going to be using the Momochi weapon. Why do we use this one? Honestly, just cause, so that we increase our damage. Um, I could use Ignis Blaze. I could use even Blue Lightsaber. She has options. If you go with a green build, ad hoc is probably the best option. So pick whatever you want. In my case, both weapons are 5 out of 5 and plus 15. Critical damage Magatamas with fire and water element, whatever Magatamas, attack Magatamas on the subslot. Um, for skills, Dark Flame, Blink Emblem, and Evil Heart Blast. Dark Flame to be the main damaging skill, Blink Emblem to be able to buff ourselves and deal more damage, Evil Heart Blast so that we deal with waves of enemies. I mean, these two skills are good for dealing with waves of enemies, but Dark Flame is also pretty good as a single target skill. Now, for supporters, I beat this using Bright and Arrows on the main and equipping, who was it? Yeah, Blackbeard Kirara. Though there was some level of risk in that build, so I do not recommend that you go that route. Instead, just equip Kurenai. So, we have Kurenai, we have Anaros, and we have Heviko. Heviko 4 out of 5. So, yeah, there's actually a bunch of good F2P options. We have, for example, um, Sakuya, we have Nana, we have Lilim. Where is Lilim? I don't see Lilim. Perhaps it's in the exchange, not exchange facility, but the other facility. Well, here she is. So, Lilim. Yeah, you can use Lilim. There's plenty of options. There's people who like to use Noah Brown because you just go hyper offensive and then you restore HP with the extra passive. So yeah, that's another thing that you can do. So and let's not forget about Cyaneo. Of course, Cyaneo is a viable option, as well as the founding tree for those whales. Anyways, let's check the stats of the customs, start training, and let's do a run. So the idea here, similar to Aina, is that you want to launch your skill, Dark Flame, and then you want to go back so the enemies try to go after you and they just get into the AoE of Dark Flame. And now I'm going to use the active. I start with the active, I buff myself. And where is Murasaki? There. Nice. I stay next to the wall so that Murasaki gets hit, but she doesn't want to get hit. As you can see, she's just avoiding my attacks. So I position myself and nice. Diagonal. And we want to be next to the attack, but Murasaki is probably one of the most annoying ones because she doesn't like to go after us. Okay. Buff. And then Dark Flame. And I just move next to Dark Flame so that Murasaki receives a ton of hits. And it is done. Yeah, Dark Flame is just such a good skill. The fact that it moves slowly, it means that you have a bunch of time to just do a ton of multi hits, and also um, when the enemy is tiny and they move, unlike the big machines, they can just go after you while you are next to the fireball, and they are gonna receive constant damage. So it's definitely worth using. So I use my buff one more time, and I use my skill, and I buff myself like that. Perfect, nice. And I use the ultimate, and I finish this. Yep. As you can see, doing the ultimate with the buff is devastating. So that's why we want that. Now, I just wait a little bit, just a little bit to heal that 40% HP. And this is very dangerous, as usual. These particular enemies are deadly, but since we have a good amount of damage reduction, uh, they won't kill me. Now I just do this, and that should deal with all of them. Yeah, perfect. Um, I'm going to use the buff one more time. I buff, and then I reposition and I launch the attack. Come on, no, no, no. Like this, perfect. Okay, and I let all the enemies get in the way of this attack, and I deal with them. Done. I reposition, I buff, I get next to the attack. Yeah, nice, perfect. And I could use the active, but there's no point in using the active, honestly. So instead I'll just stay here and damage, damage, damage. Done. Yeah, I mean, Ingrid is pretty strong. Of course she can do this. She could go with hyper offensive builds. But since we are doing a mix, this node has mixed enemies, it is a little bit more difficult to have the right supporters. So now we just unequip, yep, I unequip, and we have Noah over here. For Noah, we're going to be doing this. We're going blue because blue Noah is the easiest one. You can do green Noah, but you're gonna need the either Mr. Wonderbird or Chaotic Beholder, so that you have enough damage. Here, on the other hand, if we go defensive, you can just use Crystal Heart. It is pretty simple. I never use the active on my original run, but you can use it if you want. It is a way to recover HP. If you need that extra HP recovery, it's there for you. So, melee, critical damage, Magatemas, whatever, red Magatemas, 5 out of 5 plus 13, and 4 out of 5 plus 14. As for the skills, we have uh, Marauding Mandy, Robert's Revenge, and depending on what you want and how much damage the enemy deals, you may equip Amanda's Exile or even Edgar's Enigma. But in my case, I'm using the basic enhancer just so that we deal more damage. Because I don't need the extra healing. Now, here we're using the Founding Tree. Yet again, you can equip supporters like Sakuya. Where is Sakuya? Sakuya. You can also equip Hebiko to become tankier. There's also the option of equipping Shadow Fairy Sakura, especially if you have Mr. Wonderbird, because you are going to increase the damage of your familiars. So that's another thing. And you can equip Akina if you need more HP recovery, which I doubt. Here we have Felicia, and over here we have Anna Rose. So why do I use these ones in particular? Because of the huge amount of damage, critical consistency and damage, and tankiness mixed with damage, and the active, well, the passive on the active give us extra critical damage, which is going to allow us to just deal with the enemy quickly. We want as much damage as possible because the blue skill, though it has a good amount of base damage, it doesn't have a multiplier. It only has a critical rate increase. So we want the extra damage from the supporters. And let's see, stats of the customs, stat training, and let's do this. Yeah, it is gonna be extremely simple for the most part, because as long as you have enough damage reduction with this character, you will survive. You do want to have some amount of damage, sure, but thanks to the penetration, she doesn't need an excessive amount. She can just rely on her leader skill. So for the most part, we're going to be clearing the waves and then we deal with each individual boss. We just use our triple blue skill, our pure blue skill, and that should be it. Roberts, like that, and we use the active. And let Sakura deal some damage. As you can see, I don't have that much damage reduction, so I'm receiving some hits. But, thanks to the awakening skills, they are not gonna be deadly. And just by using Robert's Revenge, I can heal myself. And done. Yeah, the AI is pretty silly on this particular node. They stop attacking at some point. So, yeah, you can take advantage of that. And even if they were attacking, they wouldn't kill me for the most part. Once there is only the boss, it is not that dangerous. The only exception being Nagi. She is dangerous if left alone. I mean, she's always dangerous as an enemy. Oh, I was about to use the ultimate, but no, not yet. I'll just use my skills. Dash attack. Basics. Okay. Mandy over there, and I'm gonna use the ultimate. Perfect. That should deal enough damage to eliminate some of them. And as you can see, I am taking a lot of hits, but it is not deadly. But if you miss the skill, Robert's Revenge, which it is not that difficult to miss that skill, it is something that happens a lot, you might be at danger, so careful there. Let's see, I just hit and I have my HP back, and then I can just use my pure color skill. There, perfect, nice. And I do this to heal. Oh no, come closer. Yeah, like that. Well, at least I don't have any issues with this, as you can see. And I don't even use the active of the weapon, because I can just rely on my skills to heal. But if you need to use the active, do so. It is an option. Okay, I'll just do this and it's done. I wait for Mandy's, and with Mandy I eliminate this wave of enemies, or most of it. Robert's Revenge, and I can just do basics to charge my ultimate. Yep, nice. I wait for the animation to have more particles on the ultimate, and I should be able to... No, not yet. It didn't charge. Oh god, no! Done. Okay, perfect. I use Mandy again. And Roberts. Done. Yeah, it is it is doable with her. I mean, Noah has become a really strong character ever since her renewal, and also the mini rework. The mini rework also did good things for her. Yeah, if you don't remember, the mini rework makes her the property to increase her damage, if I'm not mistaken. Like there has been only a handful of characters who receive a mini rework, like Shiranui and Noah, but they did wonders to the characters. And yeah, the enemy glitched. Yeah, it is not that convincing to see me beat this stage when the enemy is not attacking, but as I mentioned, when there's only one of them, it doesn't really matter anymore. Because Murasaki and Kirar doesn't have explosive damage. Now, for the last one, let's do the fun build. It's gonna be the red one. So, we just equip the Magatamas. And what do we have? Over here I have a beat stick. It is the decisive weapon, but it doesn't matter because I'm not using a blue build and I'm not taking advantage of the effects. If you have the character release weapon, which I do not have, that's probably a really good option. You can also equip the Momochi weapon, it's viable, and well, those are the best options for Felicia. Now, again, water critical damage Magatamas, and whatever attack Magatamas on the subslot. Both weapons 5 out of 5. This one plus 15 and this one plus 10. And we have Orochinagi, Vampiric Zone, and Vampire's Blood. Orochinagi to deal the damage, Vampiric Blood to heal, but also to guarantee that Orochinagi crits, because this is terrible if it doesn't crit. And Vampire's Blood just to take advantage of the enemy's lack of super armor whenever we break it with Orochinagi. If you want to change it for Blood Sight or maybe Rendering Sight or something else, okay, do so. But honestly, I think that the basic enhancer is pretty good. Then we have Fuyutsuki to increase the damage tremendously so that we explode everything with Orochinagi. The same can be said about Beretta. And over here, we have New Year Shiranui, which you can substitute with whatever you want. In case you don't have anything good, you can just equip Gal Lilim because you're going to inflict a debuff on the enemy. It's not going to be consistent unless you use the Momochi weapon, but it is good enough. And yeah, there's other options like Yukina, of course, Estella, Yamato Susune, so whichever you want is fine. Now, stats of the skins, stats of the stat training, and let's do the last run. Yeah, this one is pretty fun because we just have to evade one attack and then we and then we lose Orochinagi. Yeah, that's good. That's good because you see that you have to be careful with Orochinagi and you do not spam it like there's no tomorrow. You have to time it properly. Otherwise, you're gonna lose that devastating attack. Nice. And Orochinagi, done. As you can see, most of the enemies are gone. Only a handful of them remain. So the issue is that Vampiric Zone cooldown is extremely long. Ooh, even with the critical rate increase, we didn't crit. That's bad. That's terrible. A couple more hits and evade. Orochinagi, yeah. And we deal hits. Done. There. Orochinagi. Done. Simple, right? I mean, we just abuse Orochinagi. It is not that difficult. If you don't have all the awakenings, perhaps your Felicia is gonna be a little bit fragile. So careful on how you use, um, on how you build her. Unfortunately, there's not that many balance supporters, those that increase attack and defense at the same time, for red. I mean, there's Galilim, but you need to debuff the enemy, and for that you would want to use the Momochi weapon. And there's also Nagi, Red Nagi, but she only works on red characters, and Felicia is not red, unfortunately. So yeah, it can be difficult to give her extra defensive capabilities on red. I just need to. Oh no! She was too far away. Well, whatever. I'm still able to defeat her. Yes, just attack and. Nagi, done. Orochi Nagi. Now, I'll just wait. With this is more than enough. And Orochi Nagi one more time. Excellent. All of them gone. Nice. I let the whole animation do its thing so that the cooldowns are reduced. And here you have to be careful because, oh, really? Well, the enemies can launch you into the air and that's devastating. So you want to use Orochinagi properly. Not like me. Really? Twice? Well, at least I hit Kirara. Yeah, here we have to fish for the skill activation. Come on. Nice. Good enough. Good enough. That deals with a bunch of them. Just a couple more. Yeah, you see? It is deadly. If I don't avoid those, they're going to just stun lock me into death. Yeah, that's why we want to eliminate the blue ones. 1, 2, there. And no! It interrupted my Orochinagi. No. Okay. Well, it happens. Done. Orochinagi. Done. And I'll just use the active. Come. There. Nice. Yeah, I didn't use the active for the most part because of the small AoE. It is kind of difficult to take advantage of it when the stage is so big, but you can use it. It gives you extra damage. So yeah, that's about it, guys. We're gonna continue doing builds for everyone, and once we finish with those, I'll start doing some F2P builds. Obviously, it's gonna focus on the strongest characters because they can just go F2P and still beat the stage. But that's gonna be it for today, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!